Hello and welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. This week, not bringing you Transformers news from around the world, but instead something special. Before we record our 200th episode, I'm going to be taking you for a little stroll back at the last 100 episodes of ATW. No, we're not going to be visiting them all, but I've picked out some stuff to take us down memory lane. In this episode, we'll be looking back on A Lamp to Light Our Darkest Hour? Dx9 Dutch and collecting smaller figures. And we also go back and have a look at all the hilarity that was Titans Return Volcanicus. All that and more coming up after this. First up tonight, we go all the way back to episode 101. We just relaunched the podcast after the first 100 episodes off the shelf. With all the hoo-ha currently over the haslab Unicron, 2 years ago another Unicron was piquing our interest.
We're going to move on to possibly the Brad likes to throw in statues and this is a statue. It's just a lamp. I'm assuming you put this one in, Brad. This is the Generation 1 Unicron lamp. This guy actually looks amazing. He's a table lamp. He's got lights all over the place. And what was the price that you found for importing it?
My PC doing it for 800 shipped. We couldn't do it for cheaper. So PC is your goal, your place to get this thing.
By PC, you do, of course, mean premium collectibles.
Premium collectibles. 72 light-up LEDs.
And it comes with a free Rodimus Prime you can burn if you'd like to.
Yep. Plugs into the wall, not battery-powered, because batteries would not power this thing for more than an hour.
I don't know about that. They're just LEDs, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's a lamp. Of course, it plugs into the wall.
Yeah, we've seen production images of this before, and these are in-hand images. I wish there was at least one shot with the lights off.
Hell, that looks great. Oh wow. Yeah. No, I'm
turn the bedroom light off. Like that. Yeah. And I just love the base. Like he's standing on Cybertron. And it's in flames. It's awesome.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that this was made by someone who just wanted to do a Unicron statue, but they could only get a license to do a lamp, so they just put a shit ton of LEDs on it.
Maybe. You know what I think is funny? Actually, you said he's standing on Cybertron and it's in flames. Wouldn't the flames actually make sense to light up?
Yeah. That's more LEDs.
LEDs are not expensive. I'm just going to point that out. Also,
I know.
It's kind of weird. He's got a Decepticon logo on his base, but whatevs.
But even if he transformed, as long as those wires were hidden, you could still get this whole light up feature in a transform.
So speaking of him transforming, when we saw this originally a couple of months ago, wasn't there also a second version that was actually in planet mode?
Yes.
Where's that?
Yes, there was that. I don't know. That must be the second run that hasn't been announced yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we get this crappy Hod Rod that comes with it.
That I really do like that. Yeah. Look, if I'm honest, I could probably do with the panels not actually being lined in black. I could do with them being sort of a darker version of their main texture, because I feel like the black brings out a little too much in it. But fair enough.
The panel lining's just sort of, it goes a bit too far because he's got nice little subtle shading going out from those lines in addition to those panel lines. So he could do without that and still look really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone buying this guy? Anyone got more money than God?
No.
All right.
Next we fast forward to an article posted in the lead up to the last night. And we get some info on a new character. I'm not sure how it made a difference in the film in the end, but it was Hod Rod, and he had a pretty sweet weapon. So here's us talking about an Entertainment Weekly article on the last night Hod Rod.
Entertainment Weekly this week published an article on Hod Rod in the last night, and some of his backstory and perhaps a little bit of his personality. And so this gives us a little bit of a look into how things are gonna work in the movie and what the lay of the land is. Hod Rod is described as a covert agent who has been secretly serving as Anthony Hopkins' character's daughter's protector in the guise of her father's 1963 Citroen car, Citroen DS. Now,
okay.
I'm not so sure that the bits on him look like that's still his alt mode in this case. We'll see.
Well, he was going to be the triple changer that had instead like two car modes, wasn't he?
Yeah, they said that it was. I think they initially described it as a triple changer. So they haven't confirmed whether or not that's going to be he turns from a Citroen into a Lamborghini, or it's just like Bumblebee in the first movie.
That doesn't really seem like it's much of a triple changer ability. Like, surely he'd just rescan a new form.
Yeah,
that's probably what they probably just misworded it.
Yeah. So the Citroen. This is the thing. The Citroen is a bit of a rickety old car. So I don't know. Apparently she can't part with the car because she adores it. And so it seems like he's probably not got that much of a connection to the Autobot team, at least in the beginning. I'm sure he'll hook up with the Autobots somewhere along the way. At the time that the article was written, there was apparently no voice actor attached, but when people saw parts of the movie recently, they reported that there was indeed a voice for Hod Rod. So whether that was a temporary voice or they have indeed cast a voice actor and just not really told us who, we will find out in about probably about 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Yeah, it's coming up.
The movie comes out. It is coming up pretty fast.
The thing I don't get about this guy, I sometimes can't decide where his eyes are, because like I think they're the blue things that are like more than halfway down his head, but then there's also things above those that look like they could be his eyes.
You're thinking it looks like he has a visor.
It looks like he has a visor. Yeah, I guess, but like his eyes are way too down on his head. I don't know.
I don't know. Like the visor looks like a forehead. I
was thinking maybe a beret because the French guy. But that'd be really weird.
There was a discussion over whether or not Hod Rod appears to be French in the movie. Obviously, his alt mode being a Citroen. Yeah. So if he is French, what's his Why would he turn into a Lamborghini?
Is there cool and Lamborghini paid Paramount some money?
Is there a French supercar? I don't know if there is.
Citroen makes supercars.
No, yeah.
All right, we've come up blank.
Actually,
because that's definitely that's an Italian make there. So,
yeah, well, the Citroen, I forget the name of it, but it's like the C1 of a GT. It looks exactly like this Lambo.
Was Citroen is this the same Citroen that made those ads about that transforming car that danced?
Actually, I think it might have been.
Yeah, that's some foreshadowing there. How many years? That was even probably for the first movie. I love those ads. That was such a clever ad.
This is a slightly more advanced Transformer.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
do you think Hod Rod's actually going to be in a position to replace Bumblebee? You know, Hod Rod's often seen as the Bumblebee replacement. Especially once you get into Energon and Armada when Hotshot takes over.
Yeah, gotta hope so.
Hotshot's like a merger between them. Like that character was weird. If we do get rid of Bumblebee, I see this guy possibly taking over. Hopefully this guy has a voice and isn't annoying.
Bearing in mind, on the subject of getting rid of Bumblebee, the solo outing for Bumblebee next year is a prequel, so they can still kill him. We'll see how we go.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, let's move on.
No one has connection to that character. Like, what? Nah.
SDCC in 2017 showed us some really nice figures, but one really got our attention. It seemed Masterpiece Optimus Prime was getting a third run.
Toys R Us, for some reason, has managed to announce that they have a San Diego Comic-Con Masterpiece Optimus Prime and that is not that figure and all that figure. So whatever, I've messed that part of the run sheet up. So let's just stay here. You know what? We don't actually need to be. We don't really need to see it because I think we all know what Masterpiece Optimus Prime looks like. Because that's seem all right.
No, it should be STCC.
Yeah, STCC from Toys R Us.
Oh yeah, it's a re-release of MP10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know what MP10 looks like. When we looked at this figure, I didn't really see that much that was new, but there will be a new batch of MP10s in the world for San Diego Comic-Con if you are looking for one. If you're one of the 3 people on the planet who doesn't currently have an MP10 mold, you'll have a chance to get one now.
Speculation alert. Last time MP10's going up for sale. You watch. This is it.
Ooh,
last chance to get the MP10. We're going to get a reveal of a new MP Prime very soon.
Yeah, it's got to be MP50.
50?
No, it'll be 40. It'll be
we're nowhere near 50.
It'll be 40.
I'm not saying it'll be soon, but I'm saying when we get to 50, it'll be Prime.
No. They got MP10 on sale again now. They're bringing in every penny they can. They're remolding. Anyway,
we will see. We'll see. So, if you're going to San Diego Comic Con, get yourself a Hasbro Masterpiece Optimus Prime.
With Combiner Wars over, we had thought so was the toy line, but then came the Dinobots and their combining form Volcanicus. It was the butt of many jokes from episodes to come, and here we go back and look at where it all began.
Dinobot Slash and or maybe we should call them Slash and the Dinobots. They will now combine because every team that I don't know, was it the team that combines together stays together, and this is what they become.
Yeah,
Insecticus Maximus.
Fantastic.
Volcanicus.
Yeah, so you guys remember like, a year or two ago how he had that line of combiner figures where there was only one that was badly proportioned?
You mean Combiner Wars?
Yeah, like there was just that one mold which was bad proportions, and even then,
that one
it wasn't that bad.
It was just that one that was out of proportion, and the one that they reused everything for. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and so now we've got another one, and I think their proportions on this look really good. I think this looks really realistic. What do you think?
Can you put your little finger to your mouth and just go hee hee or something? Because I think you're joking.
We're not actually used to max trolling.
And this may or may not look atrociously bad.
I spy with my little eye where's Slash.
He's not there because he's a Legends figure.
I'm also wondering where Slash figures into the combined form actually.
Probably the weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe Slash has been spared.
He'd be like Shuffler. He'd be an upside down.
How would that be if you're Slash and you're like the first female Dinobot and you're like, guys, you're going to combine. Can I join in? Sorry, no.
No,
you can't.
no. Just stand over there.
With a name like Slash, it should be a big sword thing. Yeah.
Do you see like a sword mode in there?
No, that's the problem.
Do you see a gun mode in Power Glide? No. Don't worry, they'll make it fit somehow. They'll just have limbs.
Yeah, they'll just be like, just like wave the dinosaur head around and pretend it's a sword. All right.
The tail's pointy. It's all right. The tail's pointy. That'll be the end of it.
Stick at the pointy end.
So
this head is the prototype form of Volcanicus, and there's some discussion around the head.
Yeah, the head looks sort of Insecticon. I think Insecticon.
I see it more as a cross between Victorion and IDW Grimlock.
I actually don't see Victorion in there at all. I see IDW Grimlock when he looks straight at you. I see IDW Grimlock, but when he's looking off on an angle, it just looks it looks like a weird cross between a Transformer and a Gundam.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep, with those fins in that area.
So you mean Victorion?
No.
Victorian's idea was the big fin on the head, and that's where I'm getting this from. There was a sort of box around the head,
kinda.
and then
Yeah,
two fins sticking
I
straight up.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd. Very.
So, so soon after, well, so not soon after, but people also figured out that Volcanicus is turning up in Transformers Earth Wars, and so people at Hascon took a pass by the Transformers Earth Wars booth where we saw the digital version of this combiner for the first time. So, what do you guys make of this version of Volcanicus?
I watched the
hey, look, he's even got the little enigma of combination next to his name too.
What?
Oh, he does. He does. He has Predaking knuckle dusters, except he's missing one.
Yeah. There was a video.
Yes, that's true.
There's a video also that was posted up for Earth Wars that we got to watch earlier. That's been removed from Run Sheet, but
good job.
It looks well, yeah. It looks okay in an animated form, but it's still a monkey. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Like by being a monkey, you mean the arms go down too far, so he looks like a
and all my Combiner Wars stuff, I mistransformed the elbows so they had no elbows, just to bring the knuckles up to the hips. But it's just interesting. Well, like Shuriken, for example, Swoop was the backpack and not the arm.
What?
Swoop does look rather awkward on the arm there.
Yeah, very
like,
cute.
Where do I put these wings, guys? I don't know. All right, I'm just going to leave them here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it was like Shuriken or one of those third-party Dinobot combiners where you can take the wings off and put them on the back.
It's the only third-party Dinobot combiner.
I know at least Toy World did one as well.
Yeah, they did.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
What about the name Volcananus?
Volcananus.
Did you say Volcananus?
No, it describes a figure.
There's some joke about the story.
What? Oh, Brad, that's one of the best ones ever. Volcananus.
Oh, I wish I had my phone. I've got the soundboard on it. Anyway, I love in that animation that we've seen in that commercial that they've brought the Force Cybertron Grimlock sword, that Energon sword in, which was very good.
If a figure comes with a massive version of that sword, that'd be fantastic.
I think a roleplay sword of that would be pretty cool, like a human-sized one, because it has like this knuckle dusters, and you can just like hit people you don't like with it. That'd be fun.
Make it out of cardboard, or you won't get anywhere. You'll be arrested.
I was thinking glass, but yeah, right.
No one's gonna arrest you. You got a big sword.
Exactly. That's how you win battles and get elected.
And we get from time to time Hasbro will mix it up and sort of introduce stuff like this. You'll talk about Tarn and figures like that have been introduced in comics and that don't have any sort of previous franchise history and that, and fans latch onto them and quite like the characters and the figures we get for them. So I'm sure there's liking out there for the combined Dinobot.
I think you're right. I think there'll be people who actually are like, holy shit, Dinobots combined now. This is awesome. I kind of feel like in general, the collector community perhaps has not really embraced the fact that there's a Dinobot combiner now. And I kind of feel sorry for Hasbro in that respect, because there's like, what do we do? We've given you G1 Dinobots. We made them a combiner. This is the stuff that people love. And everyone's like, no.
Well, it might just go back to the fact that 30 years we've given you different types of Dinobots. We keep incarnating them into different series, comics, whatever else. And now, okay, well, we're going to give you the original ones back again as part of Generations line. But we decide to make them combine as well, and that's
it should be noted that combining is not compulsory.
Yeah. No, I guess
no, but it's just that gimmick.
The thing with these figures, though, is that people have been. I feel like we've been heaping a lot of praise on the individual figures themselves.
I think that's right.
And all bagging on the combined mode. So it seems like that Hasbro's gone, okay, we're going to put this gimmick in there because that seems to be a line-wide thing. But, they clearly wanted to prioritize making decent Dinobot figures.
Yeah, but another point is too, this isn't coming in a gift set. This is coming individually packaged as deluxes and voyages. So
just like
it's
all
not
the
being
Combinables figures.
Well, we'll see what Takara end up doing, but
that's an interesting point. Maybe they'll bring back the Unite Warrior branding.
Yeah. It probably requires more. Grimlock's blue in that. That's a G2 Grimlock. Anyway, it
is a photo of an LCD screen, so I wouldn't read too much into it.
Okay. I just wonder, and it probably should have warranted some research beforehand, just what figures have come back after a certain amount of time and Hasbro's changed it up and people absolutely love. It's not really something going to now, but
when you say changed it up, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's not entirely G1.
Nothing they do now is entirely G1 anyway.
Okay, all right.
But I think the question's worth pondering. I need a little bit more context on what you mean.
It's just me farting it out now and just thinking about it. Just now, using this, okay, we're going to do the G1 Dinobots again, but we're going to include this idea. Let's make them combine and stuff. I'm sure.
They've been doing this all over Combiner Wars and Titans Return as well. We've been getting G1 figures reimagined with whatever the line-wide gimmick is as well. So they all became headmasters in Titans Return.
Titan Master.
Well, that's it. Especially the Galvatronus and the Skylynx combiner, and the Prime combiner just having bots we know combine, and then as you said, going into Titans Return, having headmasters like Hod Rod, all those sort of ones where we're going to make him a headmaster now. It's just changing up. Here's your character, but it's also a headmaster or also something that come beforehand. Even your Shockwave, your Soundwave, and your Blaster being base modes for Micromasters. It just that was something that changed up. That
I thought those figures were quite well received by people.
Yeah. Most people like. So it's just this just seems to be another version of that. It's something that's happened before. We're going to do it. We're going to add this little functionality into it, playability, whatever else.
Look, I think it's fine, and I also think that we did call this out before. I don't think they've compromised the alt modes or the robot modes in order to get the combiner stuff to happen. So, they deserve some kudos for that as well. And also,
I said a couple of weeks ago, if these.
So there's a bit of a look at the feet on that prototype, and there's also a bit of a look at how they'll be coloured on the digital version of Volcanicus.
Yeah. No, I said a couple of weeks ago, if these Dinobots showed any signs of combining gimmick, the big peg on the chest like Combiner Wars, I'll be out, and they don't. So
yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah, no. Apart, even Grimlock, you got the pegs on the back of the knees, and whatever those bulky bits are on the tail, that's fine. And I suppose, lastly, before I completely send this over the half an hour mark, it's a Dinobot combiner. It's going to take up that much on your shelf compared to all Dinobots taking up that much of your shelf. It's a good way to display on your shelf when they're combined in a Dino mode like this or combined mode like this and not taking up a lot of space.
Yeah. I'd say they're slightly less recognizable. This is the kind of thing that people will walk into your house and they'll just be like, is that Grimlock's head on the chest of that dino? Is that a Dinobot combiner? What the hell? Oh my God. And I now have to question my life choices.
Wait, people walk in your house and ask about your figures?
Yeah, actually they do.
Wait, people walk in your house?
Occasionally I'll let the outside world in.
All right. Anyway, we've focused a lot on this.
Yes,
we have. Let's go back. There's a few other official announcements here. There's Micronus, Prime Master, who we pointed out that the Prime Masters seem to have a bit of a pretender thing going on, where they have the decoy armor, and so Micronus is a Prime Master. He comes with a slightly larger robot mode with his cloudburst decoy armor, and and he has his little.
It's a cool gun mode.
Yes, weapon mode. Yeah,
yep. And he looks like an eye, which is pretty cool.
He actually kind of looks like if you ignore the designer, it kind of looks like Transformers Prime Soundwave's face.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yep, see that.
So Micronus being a Prime Master. How do I do this? I think I've put some of these in the wrong order. That's not what we want to talk about yet. This is the one we want to talk about. So the Prime Masters. I'm not really sure why Hasbro has chosen to call this a story ecosystem. It's not, but whatever. So the Prime Masters can be used with the Legends figures, as you can see, Micronus sitting on Slash, and in there they can be used as like a chest-mounted power-up on the deluxe class figures.
They plug into the hand-foot guns.
Yes.
Is that what that is?
And attach or something, yeah. And so you can use that on the Voyager class figures as well. And there's a figure we haven't talked about there over on the side, so maybe we won't talk about that yet. Let's go talk about this one.
I was just going to say it lets one get a piggyback. It lets another one look pregnant. It looks
this
another
little piggy went to market.
Yeah, this little piggy gave you a big right hand, which you should not play or you'll go blind. And the other one is an alien chest.
What?
Anyway, don't worry. But don't worry. Keep going. I'm out.
Machinima's second attempt at an adult cartoon series failed, and we reported each week on the train wreck as it unfolded.
All right, we are going to move on to some news. Wait, actually, we're not going to move on to news. We're going to talk about the shitfest that was episode 3 of Titans Return.
Machinima, lovely.
We did that joke last year. It hasn't caught on. I don't know.
It's unfortunate.
So, what happened in episode 3 of Titans Return? Metroplex and Trypticon, after walking towards each other for a week, finally made contact. It has actually literally been 2 episodes, hasn't it?
Yes. Yes, 2 episodes of them walking.
Yeah. 2 episodes of them walking towards each other. They finally made contact, nearly knocked over the Primal Basilica in the aftermath with the weird shockwave that happens when they both
touch each other. Whenever Transformers collide in this series, they explode. Apparently. Think about the last episode. The two Seekers who collide together, they explode. Trypticon hits a Seeker, it explodes. These two hit each other, they explode.
Where's the Michael Bay influence in this? That has to be.
I can't possibly tell.
It's not an explosion, it's a shockwave that's felt for hundreds of miles around.
It's an explosive
big yellow
shockwave.
Explosion.
And then you get
big yellow shockwave.
And then you get Perceptor, the Basilica's going to fail, and Mistress of Tapping Stick, no, it's fine. We have faith.
It's true. She doesn't seem to have a flame around her. She's got a stick.
There's no flames.
In Transformers lore, we have faith. I knew that the building wasn't going to fall.
No. We have faith in the tradespeople, the tradesbots that built the Primal Basilica, because they paid extra for them and they were union workers.
See, and it's paid off. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, the building's still standing, right?
Yeah, Percept just gets up and shrugs off and goes, "Well, I thought it was going to fail."
Yeah,
I didn't like these statistics.
Yeah,
just an episode ago, Prime was like, "I think Perceptor could lead the Autobots," and now Perceptor's like, "Shit, I don't know how buildings work."
Yeah,
my life has been a lie. I thought I knew how the structural integrity of this building worked.
I was a bot of science.
Yeah.
So that was a bit shit. Hot Rod took to the freeways of Cybertron, and so did Prime. In fact, it's actually kind of a miracle that they both didn't actually meet, because they both went out for long drives. It does make one wonder just how long the freeways on Cybertron are, and also just for those of us playing along at home, how do you get on and off a freeway on Cybertron? Because they don't seem to have any on ramps or off ramps; they just have long stretches of road,
or for that matter, any other cars.
Yeah.
No, they've covered that.
Massive cities with no one.
They've covered it this time. Metroplex told everyone to evacuate. Thank you, Metroplex. You've excused the lack of cast.
They're very efficient evacuating straight away.
Tony Stark has brought the area. It's fine. He's brought it and evacuated everyone.
He's brought the area.
He's brought it.
Oh, let's not do this.
Megatron.
So Megatron has a conversation with Prime this episode. I feel like they felt that the banter between Megatron and Prime went pretty well in Combiner Wars, and that was one of the things that we liked about it. Was these old these old souls that had been warring for a long time, and they've ended up both on the same side, and they're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And now Prime and Megatron seem to be Megatron just seems to be like a almost as
Shadow.
No. Like we said last week that Windblade was like a spoiled little brat, like constantly wanting attention from everyone. Megatron's come along, having been at war with Optimus Prime for like 4 million years, and he's come up there and he's just gone to Prime. He's like, "Oh, I don't even know why I'm talking to you," and walked off. It's like, I don't know, maybe because you actually called out the fact that you killed him, and he's still there, and now he's having religious visions because I don't know, he came back from the dead. Maybe he's entitled to a religious vision.
And they mentioned Unicron. So
yes, there was a name drop for Unicron in there, although it was a bit of a weird name drop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Said something about how they killed Unicron.
Reference him.
Also, so this is the weird thing, right? We're referencing Transformers the movie by saying that Megatron killed Prime and blah blah blah. Megatron also died and turned into Galvatron, but is there now as Megatron. This doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, they've got explosions in movies here. Now they've got Megatron being Galvatron and then being back to Megatron.
Yeah. Just before we continue, before we get too far away from it, before we get the two of them come together, Prime's driving away. We get bloopity bloop Morse code of the Matrix flashing in the dead chamber. Prime's eyes start flashing.
That's actually not the Matrix flashing. That's actually Prime's security system.
Ah, okay. He gets up, he gets a vision, then he turns around and heads back towards the city with no Matrix in him. And then we get the whole thing with him and Megatron talking, which again, who is writing Megatron and not writing the rest of the characters?
It's very clear
Megatron is fantastic, and the rest of it's just shit.
Megatron was not fantastic. Megatron's dialogue was terrible. Also, at this point, like Prime and Megatron are standing there watching Trypticon and Metroplex basically grapple like the first couple of minutes of a wrestling match, and I don't think at this point that Prime and Megatron actually realize that Starscream is Trypticon.
No. I think the only two.
I don't know. They're just like, oh, look, the Titans are awake. Well, bravo, good fighting, guys. Good, well done.
Good work.
And then again, we get that line from the trailer from Prime. We haven't seen destruction on this level from however long.
And they reference Unicron.
Megatron just referenced you dying. Do you not?
Which also means that he's also referenced Unicron. Unicron is destruction on a slightly grander scale than these guys.
So chaos brings chaos. Pretty much almost decimated Cybertron, but two guys fighting, stepping on a couple of subways. That's all right.
Yeah. And I posted after the last episode. Why can't Megatron transform into a gun mode and just end this?
Why can't Windblade cut Trypticon in half like she did Venusaur?
Cut his arm off. He's not moving fast. You can go up and just tap him on the shoulder and go, and just cut this arm off.
Most of his attacks are him turning around and hitting him with the tail. And then,
actually, you know what? Do you reckon Metroplex is just like, I wish I had a tail now?
Yeah, I know. All of Trypticon's attacks are him hitting him with his head and then the tail. He's not using his arms at all. He's just literally
look at them. They're tiny.
Into him. I know they're tiny.
They're tiny. They're useless little arms, right?
He's a T-Rex. Yeah. But
yet no explosions. You have to aim
the explosion.
You got to walk at each other for an explosion to happen. But if you sit there and go ram each other, it doesn't.
Then nothing happens. Yeah. Logic.
All right. I don't think any of us are very happy with this. Can we just talk about before?
And then Windblade comes in and starts talking to herself, and then 5 minutes later, Metroplex responds. It's like,
Gripping show.
This is the problem with episodes that run 10 minutes long, is that you can actually have something happen 5 minutes later.
Yeah, but then the combiners all land on elsewhere.
This is the part that I want to get to.
Okay. All right.
The combiners have been sent off to find Fortress Maximus. And it does appear that they've gone directly to where Fortress Maximus is, which is, so I assume
convenient.
I assume he's on Google Maps and they just looked it up.
Yeah,
and so
Metron has him on Google Maps.
Yeah, so so they've gone and they found some place somewhere, and there's a giant computer terminal, and I say giant because it's like a combiner. Yeah. A combiner has had to walk up to use it. Like
Menasor walks up to it.
Can you imagine Bumblebee using this computer terminal?
You'd have to like jump on one key.
You'd have to run for half a day back and forth. Like, lol.
Yep.
That's great.
The big flashing yellow button, and Menasor goes whoops.
Yeah, so he pushes the button, launches a missile, and then there's some discussion over what exactly the missile was. Yeah. It was a fucking missile.
It's our last great hope, or something.
Wasn't it like
it's either going to doom us or save us? No, it's a fucking missile. It's gone.
It's either going to be our greatest destroyer or our salvation. Just like, nope, it's a big ass,
Do you reckon that what might actually happen is that they fired that missile and it's going to just do laps of Cybertron?
Comes back and kills them all on things.
No, it's just going to do laps of Cybertron for a while. It's like every single lap is going to be like a meter off, so that it moves a little bit, and eventually like Metroplex is just going to be like, shit, here comes the missile, hey Trypticon, shove.
The war is ended.
I skipped the bit where they get there. Did they space bridge anything, or are they still on Cybertron?
Hold on. When you say you skipped the bit that they got there, it's 10 minutes long.
Yeah, that way.
Like, why did you feel the need to skip it?
I mean, it is pretty bad, but I don't think it's
I had to start the podcast, so I had to get through it. I was just
You've only just watched it? No.
I watched it the other day. Yeah, I watched it the other day, but I must have stopped because I don't recall them finding.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Body, but just did they go somewhere? Or have they just gone somewhere else?
We don't know. They've just been they've just radioed in, and it's just like suddenly all the remaining combiner models that they were like, shit, well, we've got to use something to add extra characters to the show. So all the combiners are for some reason in their combined forms and wandering around Cybertron looking for Fort Max.
They've always been. They've never been in their individual forms as well.
I think
the Constructicons.
Yeah. Slightly.
You don't even see them combined.
No, I thought. Did we not get the Constructicons last year?
We did.
Yeah, we got them last year.
Yeah.
There's no transformation.
Series hasn't been a single
one at a time, for the love of God, please, guys.
We haven't seen many transformations at all in this series.
We've seen Blade, we've seen Prime.
So basically what you're saying is that this series is the ultimate thing for your collection of statues, Brad.
Yes, it is.
And fair enough too, because they look good until they move, right?
Yeah, that's still my thing about it.
Yeah, there's not much transforming.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've Mystery Science Theatered episode 3 of Titans Return for long enough. Does anyone have any closing thoughts?
This was a mistake. This should never have been made.
Pretty much.
Yeah, once again asks why, what, how, what. I've got
How are they making enough money on this to?
Oh no, there's no money involved.
That's absolutely right. There's no money involved because, for one, they're streaming it on Hasbro's own network, Go90. 2, they're streaming it on Tumblr internationally because no one would fucking put up any money for the rights.
Yeah.
So they've gone to Tumblr. They haven't even put it on YouTube because they're afraid someone's going to steal their precious animation. No,
it's already been stolen.
There is, of course it is. There is no money changing hands here because, 1, Hasbro hasn't spent any money on it. 2, Machinima hasn't spent any money on it. And 3, there's also no ads on and around it. So who's making any money off it? No one. Nobody is.
Final question. Why even do the episode by episode? Why not just release 100 or an hour and a half feature? Could you imagine if the Killing Joke or a Marvel or DC cartoon was in 10-minute pieces? The fans would fucking rip the internet to bits. Like, it just, I don't know.
Yeah, you mean like we're doing right now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
So there's a reason why you do this, right? Like you've they've obviously put up enough money to actually create something that's roughly the length of a feature film this time around instead of a 40-minute episode. And so you can either release that all at once and get a bunch of press 1 week and then no one will talk about it ever again. Or you can release it 1 episode a week for 7 or 8 weeks, and under the auspices of no news is there's no such thing as bad press. Not no news is good news. There's no such thing as bad press. Even if we're talking about the thing and bagging the fuck out of it like we are, we're still talking about it, and we're still publishing a podcast that says Titans Return, Machinima, and so they're getting brand exposure out of it. But they are getting exposure out of it, and so that's why they split it up and they divvy it out over weeks so that they get a sustained level of press interest instead of it all just going in 1 week and then everyone going, well, that was shit, and not talking about it.
That is as retarded as asking a fat chick if she's pregnant. It's
okay.
That's something.
Wow.
That went there, apparently. I think we should...
Again?
Again? What do you mean again?
Cars 3 just got released on Netflix today in a 15-part series. Like,
what?
It makes no goddamn sense.
No, it didn't.
Who did that? What?
I didn't know.
Mikey, he's joking.
Oh, I was about to say... I don't follow Netflix, so
I'm sorry if my literalities are too literal. Don't worry about it. Let's continue. Let's talk to things we actually enjoy, please.
You surprised me with that one. You brought me to surprise on that one.
Everyone gets one.
After losing my job in March 2018, my collecting preferences really changed, and those that have been listening to the podcast for a while would have seen that and heard that. I started going for the smaller figures, War and Pocket, and a lot of Legend scale stuff. My first entry into this was Dx9's Dutch, a small G1 cartoon accurate Optimus Prime. Here's our thoughts when the first images of this little figure were released.
Let's check out the next one. So, we are fans of Dx9, and I think Brad, you've been getting some of Dx9's Dinobots lately, haven't you?
I've been spending too much money.
Yes, you have, because if you've been buying Dx9 Legends figures, you have been paying a lot of money for them.
And I've pre-ordered this.
Yeah, so this is Dx9 Dutch. He is a Legend scale G1 Optimus Prime. This is the color version of his prototype, which is not a left and right scroll. He's an up and down scroll. Now, that's
why I pre-ordered it.
It's nice, although I could really do with the metal in the Matrix having proper handles, but still.
Yeah. Oh, Legend size.
Yeah. So here's a shot from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skirt. At least his skirt piece lifts up so he can twist his hips that far around, but his legs. But...
Yeah, fair enough too. Yeah. So there is something that doesn't quite sit right about this figure with me. And I'll tell you what it is. I've only just figured it out, right? I actually love the proportions of his legs. I think they work really well in terms of cartoon accuracy. What doesn't work so well with me is actually the size of the windows in his chest. I reckon they could do with being maybe 10% bigger.
Yeah, yep. Just adjust the frame around the window a little bit.
Yeah.
Pull it in.
Yeah. Does his gun stow?
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out what that photo was as well. And I was like, he's got some weird underarm shot.
It's his underarm bazooka shot.
Australian fast bowler.
Yeah.
John, I'm very sorry. You're going to have to dial in again.
I'll be all right.
There we go.
I think it looks fantastic. And again, for $40, which is a quarter of the price.
Is he actually $40?
I don't know. I've paid $5 to pre-order it. I don't even know what its proper price is. I just brought it.
Fair enough. You bought it.
Yeah. And that's an alt mode. I absolutely despise MP10's alt mode. I don't like that as a truck mode whatsoever. And this is no different. It's just going to be in robot mode for me. So.
Is it because you prefer your truck modes to have the nose like the movie Prime?
No. I don't mind the cab over. It's just that weird blend of trucks that doesn't match. We've talked before about MP alt modes.
Yeah.
You said, well, if you want your bot in alt mode, then just buy a model car or car.
He comes with a trailer as well. I didn't.
Yeah.
I think the truck looks pretty bad though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
Something's got to give with the Legend scale figures, right? The trailer looks awesome.
And it's got all that sort of stuff that you'd get. You got your weapon storage there. It's still got a little repair bot in there.
Yeah, look, depending on the price, I could be tempted by this guy.
Continuing the Optimus Prime theme, at the end of 2018, with the new MP Prime version 3 announced, third parties decided to make their own. And arguably the best in the battle, and some say better than the official, was Magic Square and the MS-01 Optimus Prime. Now let's go back to November 2018 and see what the gang thought of this third party Prime.
It is kind of ironic that as IDW killed off Optimus Prime this week, we got a reveal of Magic Square's brand new masterpiece scale Optimus Prime. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Magic Square has been doing little bots for quite a while. Is that right, Max?
I don't know. I think so. There's a lot of them doing that.
Yeah, I feel like Magic Square is one of the guys who's been doing. I feel like they're the ones who've been doing Hot Soldiers. But I don't know if that's really.
Are they the same company?
Maybe
that was Mech Fans Toys. I can't tell. I have a feeling that someone's renamed themselves as well. But anyway,
they're all the same company anyway.
They pretty much are. They're all Hasbro and Takara, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So this.
We're on to you, John Warden.
Yes, we are. We are looking at a masterpiece scale G1 style Optimus Prime, which looks very, very impressive. He looks really neat. He's about 25 centimeters tall, I believe. Great styling on the face. Possibly needs a little bit more definition on the mouth plate, but whatever. And looks like he's got plenty of articulation going there, and of course the chrome smokestacks, and a very masterpiece style backpack going on there as well. But like
pre-version 3 masterpiece style backpack, it's so clean. I just love how clean it is.
Oh yeah, I want to hold off judgment until we see better versions of whatever the new MP Prime is. But
we've seen some versions.
At the moment, this is looking maybe a bit better.
I won't even hesitate. I'll say if I was going to replace my MP10, it'd be this and not MP V3.
It'll probably cost you half as much as well.
Exactly, that's half as much.
Probably less than that. Apparently, this guy's rumored to come in at about $60.
Wow.
Excuse me? Right. Bugger MP Prime version 3.
We've seen this out of the two. This is the one prototype we did see a few months ago, and we were asking why when MP V3 was coming out, and it just now seeing it in color, just how clean it looks.
It looks cleaner than the original MP10, but you can see there's a lot of hidden engineering in here. It was double jointed elbows built into the sculpt there. He's got a ab crunch in there as well, but all the panels are so slick. It has that sort of sloped curvature that you got with Sunstreaker and Megatron. It fits in with that modern masterpiece aesthetic perfectly.
The cartoon look, and it's just. We've commented before about how you'd update the MP10, just all the mud guards, the wheels, the fuel tanks on the legs, all that's all gone, and I'm guessing is hidden inside those calves. It's still, I think it's still a false chest thing here, just like the masterpiece.
I wonder how different to masterpiece it's actually going to be in terms of transformation or anything like that. I feel like it's probably a very similar transformation, and just with a few extra curves here and there.
Yeah.
I got to say, so there is something about this that doesn't really sit that well with me, and I don't feel like most of this is painted. I feel like this looks like it's actually just molded in that color plastic.
I don't personally mind that. I suppose.
Look, I don't mind it either, but if it's going to sit alongside masterpiece figures, this is going to stick out like a sore thumb as an unpainted figure.
Yeah, you're right, actually, because they all have that new sort of glossy paint to them.
They certainly do, as I'm looking at my new acquisition over there today.
That's gold, but this is red.
Well, it's not actually, because I'm talking about Masterpiece Corden. He's white.
Oh, okay.
He's got white paint all over him.
Yeah.
And like I said, this just doesn't look like it's painted.
Well, there might
we
be
can probably hold
lighting.
out hope.
Yeah,
it might be.
It just it looks like a real light orangey red. So
look, if you want paint, there's the paint on it. It's the grey on the back of his arms, right?
that silver stripe around the cab.
It's a very matte finish, to be sure, which does look. I probably prefer to the glossy paint, but it doesn't quite fit in.
I think the matte finish looks good under the light that they've photographed it in. But yeah, look, as far as whether or not it fits in, I don't know. I also wonder whether it's going to actually have whether it's actually going to be a matte finish where, like if you run your finger across it, there's a texture to the plastic, or if it's actually going to be like, a smoother, higher quality plastic. Well, we're going to find out. It's getting close. It's not going to be far off release.
I wonder too, maybe it's just the difference between cartoon and art and everything else that come after. Of just his toes not having the orange and yellow lights on them, where before we've seen that's at the back of the figure on his heels to become the back of the truck, where here there's obviously nothing at the front, where most you type in G1 Optimus Prime and pretty much every bit of artwork you're going to see those lights on his feet.
Maybe those are there. They just haven't actually been detailed yet.
They're on the back. You go back to the past image, and they're on the back of his heels. There.
Oh, right. Yeah, there you
go. So that obviously folds down to become the very back of the truck to become his rear lights. So
stylistic choice.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think you can see that the back of his legs fairly much comes open, so it probably actually contains the foot inside it. But I don't know. We'll find out what happens in a couple of months' time when it's released. Brad, you're going to be buying this. I know you've got Dx9 Dutch recently.
We'll see if he's going to be $60 or so. Then I'll definitely interested. We haven't seen a trailer or any accessories yet.
I doubt there'll be one.
Well, going off that price, and that makes sense. But yeah, I'd be up for this more than V3.
Yeah, look, it's worth noting. I might be wrong about the price. It was just something that I saw mentioned in a chat somewhere. But yeah. Anyway, shall we have a look at his competitor?
While most of the weekly episodes we focus on news, we also love to have deep discussions and conversations. And if we go way back to episode 101 again, we had a special one. We'll ask the question: do you spend more money on your figures than you do on your display? For a lot of us, that answer is yes. But we had some fun answering this question and showed off some of our own displays.
How do you display your bots? Do you spend all your money on your toys and then just buy bookshelves at the cheapest possible price? Or do you do something else? I got to say, I think you're possibly the person who's spent the most on their display cabinets, although I think maybe Dylan might give you a run for your money on that front because of he's actually built a shed.
Hey, this display, not enclosure.
Dylan built a shed and populated it with IKEA Detolfs. You've got those fragrance display cabinets that you picked up from Gumtree, and like I said, I think you're possibly the person I know who's spent the most on his display solution.
I got 6 of them at $300 a pop. So,
oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was $300 a pop.
Wow. Wait a minute, 6. No, sorry, 800 for the 6.
Okay, that's
much more agreeable.
Yes, yeah. But I've only got 2 in here. The other 4, the rest of them out in the shed. I really need to get the shed finished.
I am trying to figure out how I'm going to. So I'm moving out of this room and I'm going to be back in the study like I was for some of the original episodes of Off the Shelf. But I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my Transformers display down there because I don't want to just go with Kallax shelves. You can see what I've done to my Kallaxes behind me. I see you've done sort of similar with yours, Max, as well. I find the constraints of the. Originally, I loved having that minimal area where I had this single space and I put a masterpiece figure in there. My collection isn't all masterpieces anymore, and it's a little bit more complicated than that now. So I'm more interested in a wider display, something that I can actually do something with bots. I don't want to put my bots just on a shelf in a straight up, boring pose like this guy has. No offense to whoever this guy is, but I do want to put up some. I don't want to put my bots up in some slightly more dynamic poses. I want to put them in some groupings that make sense to me. Maybe putting some fighting teams together like wreckers or something. I want more options, and literally every day the question runs through my mind: should I get a wood textured shelf like this? Should I get a white shelf? Should I have glass shelves? What color backing should I have? I don't know. I haven't seen anything where I can look at it and just go, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I want for this collection. And it kind of troubles me. I feel like I need to spend a lot more time looking at Gumtree, but I feel like if I start doing that, I'll scroll back far enough in Gumtree that I'll be looking at things that were listed about 4 years ago, and they won't be available anymore. But then if I look at it once, I'm going to get sick and tired of it, and then I won't look at the listings again for months. So maybe if I look every 4 years, it'll make sense. There's just
there's certainly a black hole.
I need to make a decision. Yeah,
and it's like going off what you were saying with your display, like Leonard Tanner again saw those cubes.
Leonard's got some really nice displays now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but just like showcasing the single figure, not all grouped together like this.
Do you know ultimately why I had to stop doing it? It's because I've got too many figures.
Exactly, and that's what happens. Collections grow. What you have on display grows. I don't think going for the, and I'm air quoting here for the audio listeners, DTOF or the Audi DTOF style cabinets is a good way to have your figures. Yes, you can display them, you can lock them behind glass, but you can still only put the 1 or 2 bots on each shelf, and that's it.
Yeah, I think the depth of the Kallax and possibly the depth of the DTOFs is what really stops me from going out and buying a lot of them. I think, if there was a half width DTOF or half depth that was the same square size and shape, but only half as deep, so you could maybe spend a little bit more money on getting more of them to line your cabinet. Ultimately, I kind of feel like if I'm looking for that, I might actually be looking for something like a Billy bookcase with glass doors on the front.
But you can cheat. You can cheat because I know Dylan, he might not have done it now, but when he was installing those DTOFs and talking to him, he was going to have every second one remove the center glass. So you've got a double DTOF side by side.
Yeah, but if you're going to do that, you may as well just buy the double DTOF from Fantastic Furniture. Like, it's literally double the price of a DTOF, and they've saved you the effort of removing the glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Max. What have you got on your displays there? I know you've got your Kallaxes there, but I think that I also saw. Did I also see a DTOF somewhere in there?
Yeah. So I've basically got Kallaxes behind me, which I've done what you've done, where I've sort of separated it up a bit. So I've taken out one of the panels and used that to get sort of a wider display for the Star Wars Imperial troops. And then right next to me, there's 2 DTOFs, which I just added the other week. And then other than that, I've also got a CD rack going. I've just got a bunch of little mini displays.
Little guys in there. Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I kind of feel like if I had some Billies that would I'd have glass doors on, I could actually use the Billy CD shelves on the side for smaller bots as well. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
Yeah, it works surprisingly well because I've got like little third-party pocket scale figures on one shelf. Got 1/18 scale Marvel guys on another. Lots of little Halo figures below that because you can get just sort of little displays going, and it all fits in there really nicely.
Yeah. Do you think that you cheap out on the displays, or is it that you haven't found the thing that you want to spend a lot of money on yet?
Oh, absolutely! Like all these displays behind me, those are all second hand. The only ones I bought brand new are the DTOFs, and those I just got them when they were on sale. I pretty much the vast majority of money I spend goes towards figures.
All right.
And lastly, before we end out the show, The Minibots theme continues with new acquisitions and clip show inception. In this case, it was Dx9 War and Pocket Dinobots. I just finished collecting the series, and we seem to have some issues with paint, chrome, and some of the detailing on them. And Jason couldn't remember if it was deja vu or if we'd already talked about the subject.
End of the Dx9 Dinobot saga. Last week I talked about Swoop. As I said, this is the one last week, sort of the one that's got the chrome with the chrome wings. He now does have the fingerprints on the wings because I've been touching them. But fantastic. And then here we got Slag and Snarl. And he's got the nice transparent horns.
Nice, yeah.
They can do the same as well as talking about Sludge last week. They can really go out and do the wide angle and whee.
Does that mean you can reenact Devastator hitting them?
Yes.
On the top?
Yeah, we talked about this on that episode. I'm going to get some blue tack and make some little eyeballs for the top of Sludge.
Stick some googly eyes on him.
Because, same thing there. Like, you can get real wide hip.
Yeah, nice.
Biggest problem with Snarl is, and you're not going to be able to see this, but you got the yellow gold paint or molding on everything, but then these three up here have got like a more mustard color.
You can notice it.
I think we were talking about this when we were looking at the mock-ups and or some of the original photos of these guys. Like, some of the material use is a bit all over the place on them, isn't it?
Well, Jason, let's just go back in time and see.
Iron Factory? No, these are Dx9. These are Dx9 Dinobots.
I think they look fantastic.
There looks to be a lot of shared engineering, especially in the legs. Tails and bits will sort of all fold up, legs fold up into the...
You can only really do it so many ways, though.
Yeah, we just downscale, upscale.
I reckon they do look good. The part that gives me pause is the fact that they are $35 each.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it.
Yeah, you just said 35 when we were on.
Yeah, that is $11,000 a piece.
It might be just my monitor. Is that red awfully pinkish?
It is pink, yeah.
It is like I was just looking at say Grimlock. Like the thing that you're not getting with these versions of these characters is you're not getting the sort of the shiny metallic parts, which people love. That people love that metallic finish on Dinobots, and so Grimlock just sort of I feel like Grimlock loses something without having that shiny aspect to his chest and all the bot's legs and arms and.
You're already complaining about the price. Imagine how much it'd be if they shined them up.
Oh, even die-cast. You can go in and got no die-cast in them whatsoever.
You can't die-cast these. But
even if they give them a good paint job, then it'll cost
them. But that's the thing, right? If they give them a good paint job and they cost more, then I'd probably be happy to pay that then because they'd look better.
But for representations of the G1 characters, these look...
They do look great.
They look spot on. My only concern with these is that colour of red. If it was a deeper red, I'll be happy to have these for $200 on my shelf above the Fence Toys ones. No, these look great. I'd love to see the Dynamo. Is there a Dynamo shot, please? Please?
There is.
That's fine.
Please? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'd love the gold to be a chrome gold, not a amber gold, like flat gold. But those still look great. They all look good. This might be productions too. Then something might change by release.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's just those 6 plates, like the head, the legs, and the back and the tail and everything is that gold. It's gold plastic, but then just those 6 on there, which become his shoulder pads. No, it's not his legs, and they're just that mustard color, it's just weird. They went with that different color. I don't know why, don't know how, don't know why, but
what do you know?
2 and 2 is 4. So, yeah, so that's the Dinobots, and it sparked my Legend scale figures. I've got a heap more coming next week and the week after, and probably the week after that.
Oh, fantastic! You're getting yourself quite the little collection there.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a week or two off work, or a week or two at home to get some stuff done, get some photos done. I'm going to get some photos of these done up during the week, and they all come with their sword and their gun. But again, because these are G1 Dinobots from the cartoon. They're staying in Dino mode. I'm not even going to put them into robot mode. I want to get some sort of mini arc built and some sort of mini arc playset where all these can come out. As I said earlier, that Prime...
Are you going to buy the little Teletrain computer as well?
Well, I've got one.
What is going on in the background?
I was opening something for my acquisition.
Right, because your video is just frozen on you, just looking like
being inconspicuous.
Yes.
Oh, I've got one of the paper kit for the Teletran one already with me masterpiece stuff. So I can nearly scale with them in Dino mode.
Photocopy it down to 33%.
Yeah, shrink it a bit.
Well, that's it, guys. A lot of memories there. Looking back over a year, over nearly 2 years, getting those 200 episodes together. Massive thank you to everyone who's been listening over the years. Next episode, we'll be recording episode 200. So a big thank you from the past and going into the future. I hope you enjoy what we're doing here, and thanks for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do it multiple ways. You can head over to Facebook, where we are over there at Australian Transformers Weekly. You can check out transformerscca.com, Podbean transformersweekly.podbean.com, and all the hosts are over in the Transformers Collectors Club of Australia Facebook group, where the main discussions of the club are held. If you haven't subscribed, now's the time to do it. We're about to hit episode 200, and you don't want to miss what comes up next. So until next time, I've been Brad. Transform, roll out, and we'll see you later.